welcome back to my channel. Over the past few months I've had some fun things to do in London and I thought I would share what these were. Some are free, some are paid for and some are limited time, but I will put all of those details on the screen when it comes to it. The very first is the Imperial War Museum, which is located in Kennington along the Lambert Road. This is free to attend, but donations are very welcomed and encouraged. It is a very sobering experience, but one which really brings home the devastation and disorientation that war brings. My next stop was to the Wallace collection, which is located in Marylebone. I always look for Tudor portraits whenever I'm visiting a museum. This museum is a private collection accumulated by Sir Richard Wallace, and it is rammed full of anything and everything you can imagine from the past. It is so magnificent to walk around, and it's free. There's paintings, aged weapons, armour, sophisticated furniture and beautiful porcelain, all of incredible quality and detail that you just don't see today. These objects are of their time and you get to immerse yourself into that experience of beautiful opulence and of being surrounded by beautiful things. You also have that famous painting, The Laughing Cavalier by Frans Hals. Sadly, he wasn't there on the day that I visited. There's also a covered courtyard restaurant. It's a beautiful environment to be in and the food was lovely. My partner went for the chicken and I went for the pea and asparagus risotto and finished with a raspberry cheesecake. Absolutely just, and it was just a very nice end to our afternoon. Another visit was to Apsley House, the Duke of Wellington's London home. If you're interested in the Napoleonic era, this is definitely for you. I particularly like the military uniforms that were on display, but lots of portraits and a nice little wander around. This is with English Heritage and you do have to pay, I think it was around £13 to get in to see. My favourite exhibition that came to London was the Marilyn Monroe exhibit at the Archers Bridge, London. This continues until the 21st of April, so if you are a Marilyn Monroe fan or just interested in American film stars of the golden age, then this would definitely be up your street. I would say that this was less about her life as a film star and more about her private life. It had a lot of private documents, photographs, film scripts she had worked on, and even kitchen equipment and makeup, which I found very strange in a way because they're such personal items, and yet they're just also everyday items that she was using. I filmed absolutely everything, and you are told when you go in you can film, take photographs as much as you like, so you don't feel that you have to be sneaky or anything like that to keep the memories that you want to make on the day. Price is from £21.50, so again, reasonable and really, really enjoyable. Would definitely recommend to any film star lover. There was also a costume from Jean Harlow, which was lovely to see. The famous clothing that Marilyn Monroe wore, such as the JFK dress and a gold halter-neck dress that she was photographed in, they had replicas of, but her more everyday clothing was the genuine article and more personal, as this is what she wore day to day. Some of it was a bit moth-eaten, which was so sad to see. I guess they weren't stored so well when she died. What I really liked to see was books. There was only a couple there, but it is always so interesting to know what people enjoyed reading and what they were buying. I find that fascinating. It gives you such an insight into what they were thinking about or concerned about and what they were consuming with their minds. I do wish they had more books on display, as she was a reader, but what they did have was a very telling insight as to where her thinking on politics was influenced. and my final visit of last year was Hampton Court. I hadn't been there in over 10 years, and I think they have opened up more rooms in the Henry VIII State Gallery. I would definitely recommend you going to see if you're interested in Tudor history. I did remember the Grand Hall very well, but now you can walk through into the corridor where the chapel is. You can't film in the chapel, but you can go into the top bit and walk around and see the beautiful ceiling there. There's also a consulting room, and they play an imaginary conversation around the downfall of Thomas Cromwell, so it puts you right into the drama of that time period. And of course there are other periods of Hampton Court that you can also check out, which is really interesting as well.
What charges? What? After all these years of faithful service to my king and country, I am no traitor.
I had to put in the shot of the Christmas tree because it looked so beautiful. And then, of course, you can make your way outside to the Tudor kitchens, which are very interesting to see how the food was delivered, brought in, what it would have looked like when it had arrived, how it would be processed within these rooms that you are so lucky to be walking around. And all of these rooms were created for their different needs, from pastry, dairy, sugar, meat, vegetables, and how each item has a place and a purpose in the kitchen. It was a very cold day that day as well. I can remember trying to get near to that fire where they were roasting some meat just to keep warm. There is so much more to see at Hampton Court from other eras in history, but the Tudor expansion really interested me. Price is £31 per person and the most expensive of all the suggestions, but they also had the most on offer to see. I hope that gave you some inspiration if you're thinking about spending some time in London. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.